Here in western Pennsylvania, it's been rained last night, a little bit this morning. It's been humid, been pretty hot, about 91 yesterday. Temperature's gone down some. It's a little better, but it's still muggy. It's really cloudy. It looks like rain, but they said it isn't supposed to rain till this evening again, and on and off. And I'm talking about problem solving, things that I have learnt. And it's always best if you have a problem, whether it's your car, your motorcycle, mowers, riding mowers, push mowers, anything like that, weed eaters. It's always best to do the cheapest and easiest thing first to make sure that you don't go out and buy stuff that you're not going to need. So to start on this, I have a lot of upper body strength. My arms, they're strong, my hands. I got mad the other day, the car's parked here, so I went out, I grabbed the hold of the car. I should have knew better. Well, I'll show you what I did. I grabbed the hold of it, ripped the front fender off the car. Just grabbed it and ripped it off, didn't care. No. I had a deer hit, but I had to take the fender off to get in there. What it did was it took the whole nucleus or whatever you call it for the light on the driver's side, and it pushed it inward, and it went down in along the fender. So now I can't get that unit out. I thought it's easier to remove the fender and then work on it. So when I problem solve for this one, let me get the other part. That was pretty good. Here is my unit that holds all the lights and everything. And what it did was, it sets in a car like this. Well, it pushed it down and this went in along the fender, so I couldn't even look in there, get at it. So I took a couple bolts out up here. I took the fender off. I can get right to it. A fender isn't that much to get off, really, just a bunch of bolts. That's a Ford Fusion, and so I took the inner well off. It has them pop things that come off and a few bolts in the front. One you have to reach inside the fender anyway to get in there. So I took that plastic shell out, took the fender off, and then it has some thick foam back in there that's placed there for sound prevention, because, you know, it's a little more expensive car. But it broke all the connectors where this hooks in. That's all it hurt. So I took it out and I thought, you know, you can take your lights out, go and buy one of these. But you know me, I said, I'm going to fix it. So I got a broken part here. I fixed a lot of it in here, and I've been using JB Weld. Now I got some holes to fill in, and you can even put like a screen mesh on there to hold it and put it in. But I was thinking, I remember Harbor Freight sells a plastic welding kit. So that's your next best thing. Look on YouTube, put in whatever you're thinking about. If you have a problem with a car, put it in. If you have a code that comes up, you can put it in there. Somebody will show it. I mean, that is so much wealth on that internet, on YouTube, of knowledge. So when I use the JB Weld, I used to always use the red and black. I started using the yellow and black. Takes a little longer to cure, because this doesn't dry. It's when you mix it like epoxy and it cures. This is better. I like it a lot better. It's stronger, and I've used it a ton of this stuff. So I looked on the internet or on YouTube, and I found, I put in about the plastic welding kit, and I watched a guy and he convinced me to go get one. And if you put in on YouTube how to use a Harbor Freight plastic iron item 60662, and that's by Martin Built. Martin is the guy that put it on, does an excellent job. His was, I think, the second one down. He shows himself holding it, and you can see him. I don't know why I logged on to that one, but that's the only one I watched. He shows an excellent video of how to use it, how to really do it to melt plastic together. And what you get in the kit is you get some metal screen, and let me see where the rest. Okay, you get this plastic stuff that'll fill in holes that you can melt in there. One side is flat, the other side's a little bit of a radius, so you could put the radius down in your hole, and this is fantastic. And I'm trying to see if I thought I got some rods with it too. I don't know, but they have these rods. I think I got some of them in there. I had it in the house, so I might have left it in there. But anyway, I bought this as item 41602 that they sell, and it tells in here what plastic is different colors for different things. So I picked up another one of those, and it's just like a soldering iron, and you can see it has a little triangle tool on the end. It is like you could probably use a soldering iron, but I thought I'm going to buy it. It's like $16, and then you take the 20% coupon, so you get money off. And it gives you a little stand for it, and a stainless steel wire brush for cleaning. And they tell you to, well, Martin will show it, but they tell you, you know, in the instruction book, it tells you to rough it up to make it so it'll take the new plastic. And I'm thinking sometime I'm going to try this with, like, taking a jug from a gallon of milk when it's done, the plastic, and maybe making some strips and see if I could use that kind of stuff, because, you know, there's all kind of plastic you could cut in strips and use yourself. So I'll be trying this, and I'll see how this works. But I got some more holes to fix in here. Then I'm not sure. I know there was one here, then clear down here someplace. Back here it connected. There was pieces. Now my car has that plastic flap underneath to protect it from stones. So a lot of these pieces were laying down there, and I dug them out when I took that off. I lowered that on the one side to get in there, and there was a lot of the plastic parts in there. Some of them I can't tell exactly where they go, but it's amazing how you can piece this together. And I have all these little pieces. I saved everything because I could actually take a piece of this, stick in a hole. Well, it ain't going to fit perfect, but I can melt it in with that. Use this same plastic, might as well. Then these strips. Now, over at Harbor Freight, they sell these rods, but I wish they would sell these separate. I don't know why they don't for that iron. That's what you really need. That's nice there. I like that. And it's what happened is I had another car. I'm going to work midnight shift. I go up the road. There's a guy coming the other way, and he was kind of far back. He flashed his lights. He went past. I didn't see nothing. A deer come out, run out. Here it hit my side rear view mirror on the side of the car, on the driver's side. He just come up and stopped, smashed it into the window, side window. It's amazing it didn't break. I mean, it hit hard. But that mirror, the plastic on it just went everywhere. So next morning I come home, I call junkyard. They don't have one, but they could get one. Okay, what's it cost? I think it was $145, because you have all them cables in there. On that car, it wasn't electronic, but it was like you move it, and then the cables, there's 3 cables go up to tilt your mirror. Those cables, they won't sell it was the outside casing I need. They won't sell it separate. You got to buy the whole thing. So I said, well, I'll let you know. I went back out where that happened, and I looked on the road. Now, there was a big chunk still on the car. There was another chunk off the side of the road, but on the road there was all these small parts. So I picked them all up, put them in a bag, brought them home. I started piecing that together, and it was going really good. And I used JB Weld, and on the when I was done, there was some big holes in it. So I put tape on the back side, and on the outside I filled it clear up and humped it up with JB Weld, left it get hard. When it was all done, I sanded it. Then what I did was, the mirror was broke, and there's just a pad there that's glued on, and that pad goes like this and moves for to put it where you want it. So I thought, I'll just take a tracing off the passenger mirror, flip it over, and put this side out, And the wife took it down to where they cut glass and that and said, I need a piece of mirror just like this. So they did it. They cut it out, they smoothed the edges, everything, $5. So I fixed that whole thing, and when I was done and sanded that down, painted it, put it back together, couldn't tell the difference. I mean, most side mirrors are black, and that's so that they can use them on all the cars. They don't want to have to paint a bunch of them this color, this color, this color. They make them all black. That's why. So I got done, cost me $5. It looked great, worked. Now it didn't say items or things, objects in this mirror are closer than they look. They didn't have that on it because it's a regular flat mirror. It worked great though, no trouble at all. So for $5, so I saved $140. But anytime you have a problem, YouTube, and then go with the easiest thing you can. The other day I got the mower out, it won't start. So I tried, I put a charger on the battery for a little while, wouldn't start. I could hear the solenoid clicking, but it wasn't real strong. It was like, you know, the first thing you think is battery. So I wanted to cut the grass, it was gonna rain. Told the wife, bring your car over with the jumper cables, and I stuck a big long screwdriver down in by the motor and put it right on the starter where the cable goes. Put a jumper on there, put the ground on, it started. So I mowed the grass, got it all done, just to make sure I don't shut it off. Brought it back up, put it away. The next day I said, I got to figure out what it is. So I pulled the mower out here, looked down in there and everything, and I thought, the way it did, the first thing I did was check the battery power. It was up. The battery was showing good and everything. I said, well, let's see what's next. I knew it wasn't a starter because I'd put a screwdriver in there and started it. If it was a starter, it wouldn't have started. It started. So I said, the only thing left in that line is a solenoid. So I looked at the solenoid. Here, the one terminal was crooked. It had melted a little bit in there. And this is kind of a small solenoid, and it fits. There's a panel right in front of where you sat, and you take it off, and it's right there. So I said, I'm going to check that. I took it off. I happened to have a solenoid from back when I had my airplane. I had a starter in it, and I bought extra solenoid for it and that, and it was a little heavier. Put it in, starts right up, works perfect. I always had trouble when I would cut a good bit of grass and it got hot, it wouldn't start again. So I was like, well, someday I'll figure it out. I just don't stop when I'm cutting grass. So then after I put that solenoid on there, I tried it, worked perfect. Now I ripped the solenoid apart, and there's two clappers in there that connect the big heavy cable. But anyway, they go like this. This one was kind of going like this. I could see it was just burnt here and here. It wasn't flat. It might have been when it was made, or maybe that, but both of them were like that, not just the one that melted and got a little bit of an angle. It was hitting like this all the time, so there wasn't much surface. Once I put the new one in, it's like this, kicks right off. So you always look at the easiest thing first, and I've said about the weed whackers especially. Put the stuff in the gas when you're done for the winter or summer using it, and if you don't, it wouldn't hurt to put a little bit, just a little bit of that stabilizer in your fuel. I think helps it. But how many times it's always with them, you pull them, you can't get them started. It's like it's not getting fuel. That's what it is. You need to clean the carburetor. And I showed on one of my videos about a carb here. Can't remember what it was from, but I fixed it, opened it up. There was dirt inside. It had dirt inside. Oh, for my cousin's thing. Yeah, it's a big heavy weed whacker. That's what it was, on wheels. But it's usually them little jets in there. And if you have any screw or anything that's like for adjustment, you make a little mark and then have everything quiet and turn that in and see how many turns you give it. 1, 1.5, 1 3/4, mark it down, draw it on a card. Then when you go to put it back together, you can screw it in and then turn it out that many knobs. You have the same setting because it did run at one time, so the setting's right. And you clean them holes out with carb cleaner, but sure to wear glasses because that sprays back in you. And you take all them screws, the float, the jet out of there, and the jets always have a little hole sideways. at least one hole through it. When it goes up in it, it has a little hole this way. Some will have two, one this way and one this way. They're crossed. But you look at those, get a little wee needle and put in there, clean it, spray it, clean it. Amazing. They start right up. I don't know how many things I've fixed like that over the years. But it ripped the fender off. I was mad enough to. Just started up the road. Hey, there's a bend coming up the road up here. And there's a cliff on the side over here. That is steep. And that's where that deer come from. I'm like, I can imagine the other side it's coming up. It ain't as steep. I can see him coming up there, but he come down off of there. I mean, I was like, that's what surprised me so much. All of a sudden it was there, and the wife hollered, and it was there before it hit the car. It kind of just stayed, and then it like rammed the car. It's like, what the hell? Well, they don't understand. And I come home, I thought, oh, it ain't bad, you know, this and that. Well, then the one night I had the car out, and I went to come home, and it's like that light's pointing straight down. I said, oh, man, there's something wrong. So I went and looked at the light. It's jammed in there, so I just tore into it, do a step at a time and fix it. It's like, man, always something. And the movie thing. Last Saturday we filmed. The wife and them had the tea party, and I had written a script for it and made the movie. Got it edited. I'm just waiting. The wife's going to, we have to buy music to put it on YouTube, and I want to send it to the people I sent the other movie, her movie, to. But this one is written, directed, edited by me. So, and it's a short. I mean, it's short. It's like 5 minutes. But once I get it all done, I'll put it on YouTube and people can see it. But I think it's a pretty good idea. Made the props for it and everything, and it worked out good. I think we filmed like 3 hours. We were done. So it was nice that way, you know, because her movie was long, and then we kept adding to it. But I wanted to keep this short, just, you know, right to the point. And her sister now just emailed me. She wants to do some more. I said, you do it, you film it. I'll show you how to, you know, use a GoPro, and I'll show you editing in our movie maker and this and that. I said, you know, but it's your idea. You come up with the idea. So she said she's going to be thinking. Oh, my. But I'll let you know how this works. And I like this tip a lot better than what you have on the soldering irons. I know some of them have a flat thing, but I thought, you know, there's no off and on it. It has a light that comes on, has nice grip. But I thought, much plastic as I work with, you know, it'd be pretty good. So I'll be trying it out. And I mean, you know, for 16 bucks minus 20%, $16 without the 20%, you know, and I thought, man, that's pretty good. I'm going to try it. And let's see, Father's Day was Sunday. And this coming, I think, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think either Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday, is one person left a comment. Ron left me a comment about Johnstown. It's a little ways from here, but I mean, me and my nephews rode over there, you know, just to ride. We've gone over there and hung around, and it's down in a valley, and they call it Thunder in the Valley. They're having it this weekend, where the bikers all go, and they have, I think, eats, and you go up on the incline. There's an incline there. You go up, and it's up above usually. I know I went years ago, and it was up above. There was a bike show. But they're calling it Thunder in the Valley, and they're going to be up there this weekend. So I told Ron, if my nephew's schedule permits it, we'll go. But a lot of times he gets work at the last minute, and he has to be, you know, work. He has his own business. So, you know, I've been talking to him, and he said he'd let me know. And I said, okay, you know, see what day you maybe want to go. So, because me, I'm retired. It don't matter if he wants to go one day or whatever, you know, I mean, whatever day he wants to go, I can go. It don't matter to me. But I thought maybe I'd take a ride over there and look around. I know they're going to have bands and stuff like that, and that's interesting. So, well, I'll let you know how you can see my car there, the fender off of it. And what I I had brought this welding kit home, and I looked at the box. You just get these black things with it. These here, they are nice, but they don't sell these separate. I don't understand that. So definitely get yourself a bag of these. I think they were just $5 or $6, and there's a lot of them in there. 50 of them. Okay, then inside you can see white rods are for ABS, gray rods are PVC, and green rods PP. Now on the back here it explains PVC, polyvinyl chloride, yeah, plastic pipe, irrigation lines. Then the PP, polypropylene, for telephones, keyboards, household hard plastics. ABS, high resistance to chemicals, blow molded products. ABS, blow molded products. And that's what this is. Well, this isn't really blow molded. Blow molded is like your milk jugs, stuff like that, where they put plastic in there and they blow air in it to force it outward. This is more like, it might be blow mold, can't even say it right, blow molded, but it looks like it's more just done in an injection system, because I worked for a plastic company years ago and I know this would be molded, injected. So one of those would work. But I have these strips I'll use first. And one thing I don't think Martin told about, if you go to his site and look at it, is be sure and use it in a ventilated area, because it does put off fumes. So when I run it in here, I'll have my blower on, blowing a little bit of air around to get it out of here. So that, and then just like I said, you can see this piece here, there's a chunk broke off. And that's right where this is held in, this unit. So when I got all them pieces out, here is the piece, and it actually fits perfect back on there. So I can melt that in, line it up good, melt it, see right there. I can melt it back together. Now I have that hole to hold it. And I'll put some more plastic on it. Then a couple other places, like down here, I don't have any pieces that fit this piece. So to see how it works, I can pop the hood, put this in there, and see what goes down here. You know, see exactly what it needs to hold that. And then I could make it out of plastic and melt it on. So that's what I'm saying. You just take some time. I'll give up time for, I can imagine what they want for one of these. You know, I mean, even if you take your lights out, they're going to want a lot of money for this whole unit. So I'll get it back together. It'll be like new. And I'll let you know how this works. So as you can see, I have all this patched up, all of it. Down in here, I had to use some JB Weld. The hole was so big, and I could probably get the iron in there, but I just fixed it. One more little hole here. All this is fixed up here. This bracket's back on there. So everything's good. And over here on the bumper, right under the light, there was a crack. So what I did was I took some of that wire screen they gave me, loaded it with JB Weld, put it up underneath there, and put wax paper on it so these clamps don't stick. I clamped it here first. I put this one on to push this outward. Now this I pushed back. I have it pulled back air to close the crack. Then I put two more on. So now I can let that dry, and I'll have that little wee crack there that I can probably sand and just get one of them little paint pens that match this. Go to the auto parts, get a paint pen to match, touch it up, it'll be fine. But then this over here, I still got to figure about where it mounts, how it mounts. So once that's dried real good, then I can take this unit, set it in there like I'm going to put it back, and I can see where I'm missing some mounts, because I have like this part left. I don't know where it goes, can't find it, where it goes on there, so I can figure it out from there. And then I don't know if I said it, but looking at the gun, the plastic welding kit, they give you these long black things. These are really nice. But I'm glad I did buy these rods, because I can use them in some places where I don't have to use these wide strips. I can save them. So I used one of the white rods, and I used it, and you can see right here how it's white in here. I feel a lot of cracks after I had it glued good and all melted together. Then the cracks, I'd go over it with that, and I think that'll work great. But the welder kit works perfect. That little welder tool, you probably could use an iron, but for the price, you know, what, 14 something, you might as well, or yeah, no, it was less than that. It was about 13, maybe 13, $14. I mean, what the hell? Because this, you can push sideways, you can put straight at it, you can, you know, move it around. I mean, they got that design nice. And they say when you're done with it while it's still hot, wipe that tip off. You wipe it all down, get all the plastic off of it, and it works great. So it was well worth the money. Worked great. I'll get it back together and be in business. Still cloudy out. Looks like rain again, maybe. I know they said later tonight it's going to rain, but I'll get it back together. And it saves me money, and I feel good doing it. One other thing I wanted to bring up was I had told about the Harbor Freight stool. It has 5 wheels on when you get it. The ball bearings fell out of mine, so I put 3 big wheels on. I showed on a video. That's a mistake. If you put 3 on, there's certain ways you go to move, that'll flip. It flipped out from under me a couple times. Went back over, well, I was going over to Harbor Freight when I got the plastic welding kit, so I picked up 2 more of those big wheels. And I just used the holes that were already in here, and I put 5 big wheels on. So now it works great. So replace their wheels with these. I had to get some, I had these washers. You need bigger washers to spread the weight on them. And you have to buy the nuts for the top. I forget, I think they're, oh man, half 20 or quarter 20. I can't remember what these nuts were. I just bought them a while back. But you need the nuts and these big washers on here to help spread the load. That thing is so nice now. Well worth the money. It works great. Them little stinking wheels, I'll tell you, I hated them things. But now I can roll, and you know, I got like pieces of carpeting laying here. I can go right over the edge of them. It don't stop. The little wheels are junk. Well, get it cheaper that way. So that's a good fix on that. Put 5 big wheels on. You can get them at Harbor Freight. Works 100% better. So that's it. I hadn't put up a video for a while, and I thought, well, I'll show on this about problem solving. So instead of going running down there and buying another part that's going to cost me a lot of money, no reason I can't fix this one. What attachment isn't there? Like here is some pieces missing off of here. I don't even know where it goes, so I'll set it in there, see what was hooked to it, and go from there and just make a part. So that's my video.